like from agriculture to artistry to critical thinking management, everything will be impacted in some way or another. But it won't lead to like job losses the way people are saying, where everyone will become homeless. That's overhyped media sensationalization, as they put.
I think I'm usually very positive about technology. So again, I'll say when such a transformative technology kind of hits the scene, there are two things it does. One is it creates new opportunities that you might not have imagined. Second, it augments certain way of working of individuals. So I'll give you an example of both. 2 decades back, remember when computers were introduced? How do you remember? You were not born then. I don't remember because I was still in my diapers. Okay, but jokes apart, most of the content that time had this apprehension that computers are going to replace human beings. There will be a job loss on the scene, etc. Fast forward 2 decades, all of you in this room, all of the members of the panel are working on jobs because of the computer. Our jobs exist because the computer was introduced 2-3 decades back. So this is an example when a technology has introduced something which was not very common. So if you ask my dad when he was in school, do you want to be a programmer? He's like, are you psycho? ऐसा कुछ job नहीं होता है. Okay, but now you guys aspire to be programmers, software engineers. So our jobs today exist because computers were introduced. So it's a transformational technology. Second example is it augments the existing nature of work. So सब लोग Zomato, Swiggy use करते हैं. Right? All of you use it. Okay. So remember again, 10-15 years back, the only person doing deliveries was a postman. Okay. Cycle पे आते थे, letters लेके जाते थे. Okay. Now look at your Swiggy and delivery boys today. They come on vehicles. They have navigation. Postman को पूरा city का map दिमाग में रटा हुआ रहता था. Okay. Now cities have become big. They have to deliver fast. So they use technology, Google Maps, to navigate quickly around the city, navigate quickly around the traffic. उनके पास में delivery करने के लिए they have apps कि किसको देना है, sign करना है, OTP etc. So this is an example of technology augmenting the job of a delivery boy. Okay, so postman भी आजकल थोड़ा use करने लगे हैं. Courier was again introduced because थोड़ा सा postman का थोड़ा सा it was sort of an upgrade कि instead of letters you could send stuff etc. So like I said, technology can do two things, a transformative technology. One is it can introduce a nature of work which is completely unheard of, just like I mentioned computers. Second, it augments your way of working. काम रहता है, it's not a job loss, but it changes the way you do your day-to-day work. So I think generative AI will do something similar, and like I said, I'm usually very positive about technology. So I think this is my 2 cents on this.
बट मैंने लाइक कुछ दिन पहले ही पढ़ा था कि बाय 2040 63 मिलियन जॉब्स आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू लॉस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ ऑटोमेशन एंड दिस इज द स्टैटिस्टिक्स ऑफ आवर इंडिया itself. So what are your thoughts? Like 96% of the upcoming population will don't have a job because of drastic automation.
So like I said, when a technology hits, it might replace some jobs in the short term, but it is also creating new ones. So is this 63 million a net job loss? Yes, direct job loss. Okay, so are you factoring in the new jobs that it can create? You cannot factor them because you don't know what they will be. Again, I will give you a very simple example. Stock market, आपने मूवीज में देखा होगा, बिग शॉट वगैरह मूवी या द बिग बुल वगैरह सीरीज अगर देखते होंगे, you might have seen brokers standing in Bombay Stock Exchange shouting with slips in their hand, etc.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Definitely.
When dematerialization of shares was introduced, all of these traders lost their jobs. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's in the short term. Today, exponentially large number of people actually invest in stock market than the number of people you were investing in the stock market. So these traders who might have lost their jobs immediately might have transitioned into something allied in the stock market itself. So in a true sense, or I would say in a short term, there might be a little bit of job loss, but eventually people do transition into allied profession. So it's not like the jobs go away. Similar things with bankers, right? Calculators are गए, accountants खत्म हो गए. We still have chartered accountants. we have better chartered accountants these days.
Yes.
So I think technology is going to transform that. And the statistics may be about job loss because that is predictable. What kind of jobs will this technology create? That is something unpredictable. So I hope it creates more jobs than it results in losses.
This is what we hope for.
Okay, thank you.
So I like to add a couple of comments. First of all, I completely agree. So this is not overhype. I mean, some jobs may go, some other will come into place, and it's a kind of transition, definitely. I see like most of the jobs will create in content creations area. So that will be the big beneficial is in coming time.
Sir, I don't think so. I think content writing will be replaced by this
I mean to
language
say,
model.
I mean to say the creative content creation. Yeah, there will be the big worries in terms of like how to preserve your creative rights. Cause like content will be get created by many such platforms coming days. There will be the things, but I think that there will be the n number of other possibilities that will that may open in terms of the creative industries. For the sake of like VFX currently we see. So we do not take an example for the ChatGPT. So in AI, in VFX, there are many manual works that we are used to do. So for example, there is a head-mounted cameras. If you have seen Hollywood movies most of the time, right?
Yes, yes.
So
Definitely.
many times what happens in a particular studio is like the actor has to wear all particular suit, the head-mounted cameras, and in a particular green screen studio, the actor or actress has to perform the particular scene. So it's a dependency, right? You need to wear everything, and sometimes some of the scenes can't be even performed, right? With AI in place in a VFX and movie making, specific to the computer vision, something is not necessary now. Like if you see the rest, couple 3-4 months of examples, many things are in there, which is like AI enabled, and which are like not having dependency in terms of head-mounted cameras or any particular suits. So this is the creative thing, like in terms of gaming, in terms of putting your digital character in a particular digital things. So this is a boost in terms of creative content creation. So I'm thinking in that perspective,
Yes.
not creative content in terms of YouTube video creation maybe, but in that perspective. So that is the one thing. But I see like if there is a one part of or one type of job goes, other will appear, and there always be transitions. And I'm again very positive about the technology. There will be a shift in paradigm, not in sudden, slowly,
But slowly.
but yeah, there could be the chances. So that's my
I would like to add some few more points. As the saying goes that survival of the fittest, the theory goes. So, though the jobs will be getting replaced, but you have to adapt to the new skills. Eventually, you have to learn AI and all that stuff, how it works on. So, the things I can think of on like the thing which can get replaced are the day-to-day works that are being done like in factory or in production, like manufacturing, checking of stuffs and all that stuff. This can be automated and all that stuff, but the things like critical thinking that doctors can do, lawyers can do, at certain inches, creative content can't be replaced. It's something unique that can't, or machine can't think. It has only the ideas that has it learned from the internet. That's it. And the second thing is like when some jobs close, some new jobs will be opening because when the systems like who has made ChatGPT? People from us has made ChatGPT, so that there will be need of AI researchers who are doing some kind of research in the industry. There will be needing of AI developers who still develop these kind of machines. So it may open new job openings, but at the same time it will take some of the jobs. It has both positive and negative aspects.
Positive and negative.
Yeah.
Let's know ChatGPT's opinion.
The fear of the fear of automation and job loss is a legitimate concern for the future of work. While automation has the potential to increase productivity and efficiency, it can also lead to job development and workforce disruption. The impact of automation on the job market depends on several factors including the nature of the work, the level of skill required, and the availability of alternative jobs. Some jobs are more susceptible to automation than others, such as routine tasks that can be easily automated, while others require human creativity, intuition, and problem-solving skills. Studies have shown that automation has already had an impact on the job market with certain industries and occupations experiencing significant job losses. Moreover, the pace of technological change is accelerating and is likely that more jobs will be affected in the future. However, it's important to know that automation also creates new job opportunities, particularly in fields such as data analysis, artificial intelligence, and robotics. These jobs require high level of technical expertise and skills that can provide workers with rewarding and fulfilling careers. To mitigate the potential to irrigate the potential negative effects of automation, policymakers, business, and individuals must work together to prepare for the future of work. This includes investing in education and training programs that equip workers with the skills they need to succeed in a rapidly changing job market, as well as supporting innovation and entrepreneurship to create new job opportunities.
So you see, like our friend is highly optimistic and diplomatic. So you should be quite cautioned about that.
यस डेफिनेटली जैसे कि हमने बात की कि मतलब एक इंडस्ट्री दिस शिफ्ट लाइक मतलब एक इंडस्ट्री डाई सो अदर विल राइज सो माय क्वेश्चन इज विल एआई लीड टू द ग्रेटर इनकम इनइक्वालिटी एंड वाइडन द वेज गैप बिटवीन हाई एंड लो स्किल वर्कर
So, like there will be definitely disparity. Like if some person knows, like has a control or more knowledge of AI, he can certainly build a company and disrupt the market. But there may be some fields like he can be expert in that field. And let's say there's in India there are two business tycoons like Adani and Ambani. You know that. So a company which is very powerful like OpenAI or let's say Google, they may have access to large number of data sets. At that time, what they can do is they can disrupt small startups which are working very hard. Though they may be more knowledgeable, more experienceable, but these companies have much more access to data and all that stuff. Now the only thing which we can do or which governments can do is like they can limit their restrictions, like you can only use this many data sets or you can limit your restrictions. Or one thing they can do is like they can distribute a certain income or they can give that these are the minimum wages you can distribute. In that way you can lessen the income gap, but if there are no such measures taken by government or organizations, definitely the companies which are business in market like OpenAI, they can definitely disrupt the market in long term.
dominate the market
Yeah.
basically.
So yeah, I agree. So see, like ChatGPT is from OpenAI, right? And there's an investor from Microsoft and the other, like most of the biggies, right? So we definitely see that the rules and norms in their hands. So control is there, right? So and we are hoping everything is good and everything is going to get perfect, right? ChatGPT is working so fluently. We're getting all the perfect resolutions and results. So we're quite happy, but at the end it is some controls in their hands somewhere, right? So I'm also quite hopeful with the decentralized system. That's not going to happen soon, right? So again, there is a job in terms of like values. There will be the some, but I'm not that much thinking in straightly that it will happen soon as just now. But yeah, this is there will be the chance of a scope of worry somewhere, but it will not again sudden just like that. So it will be, but there is a door open for the knowledge, door open in terms of what can be done, door open in terms of knowing that someone has built something, even it is from other country, right? Let's say for indigenous case, if we are not build it, we wanted to build it something like that. In some not other case, like we wanted to have some technology, something built in our land, right? So that way, it is the point that someone has done, so we can have developed the technology accordingly. The good thing is it is open source currently, a certain extent, not everything. So this is a learning perspective for us. So I think in terms of values, or maybe in terms of like number of how the particular job disparity in terms of values, that not gonna happen straightforwardly. And I don't see it's quite happening recently or coming time. It will maybe, but it's all depending upon how the knowledge that you acquire. But knobs and control will be always there who's investing in that. So that's it.
So I would give one example of the same of decentralized system like as you mentioned that who has the power he can rule the market. A simple example, a few years back when the scam 1992 happened during the Harshchandra time. At that time, no one has a control over the stock market. Like a stock can go any up, or any percent up, like 100% to 100%. But after the scam, government came. Government realized that it is not certain. It is in the hands of people. So they introduced certain rules and regulations. So if you trade in today's market, like there's certain restrictions, like if a stock, let's say Reliance is there, or let's say HDFC Bank is there, it can certain price only 20%. If it goes beyond 20%, the trading stops in that stock. So the same rule should be applied in the AI field. Like there should be some rules and regulations. The second thing which you can say about is like the decentralized system, Web3, like there is blockchain and you do cryptocurrency trading. In that there is no governing organization, no power, no one controls that. So what happens a few years back, the Dogecoin was introduced and it has the Elon Musk officially just tweeted about the same and just the cryptocurrency went up and shoot up. Some of the people lost a lot of money and some of them were very rich. So there should be certain rules and regulation. Like जब वर्ल्ड वॉर टू हुआ था तब कोई उसके पहले तक सब लोग कोई भी कंट्री के ऊपर वॉर कर सकते थे बट आफ्टर वर्ल्ड वॉर टू देयर एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ यूनाइटेड नेशंस एंड देयर आर सम सर्टेन रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस लाइक कब क्या करना चाहिए सो डेफिनेटली ऐसे एस्टैब्लिश करना चाहिए टू मेंटेन पीस दैट्स माय टेक
Thank you. So I think I'll refocus the discussion on the question income inequality. So I think income from any kind of work, skilled, unskilled, or whatever kind of work, is actually a factor of two things. One is the hard skills, so what the work the person is actually doing. Second is how they are negotiating that income. Okay, I am sure all of you buy clothes from flea market. सब लोग shopping जाते हैं, right? You always pay the price that the shopkeeper is quoting, or do you bargain with that person? You bargain, right? So it is, तो आपका स्किल और वो शॉपकीपर का भी स्किल है बार्गेनिंग का कि what value he has set to his merchandise. So a part of the income that the shopkeeper is doing is based on his soft skills of negotiating the income. तो अगर वो अच्छा negotiate आपसे करता है, he'll be able to sell his merchandise for a higher profit. अगर वो खराब negotiate करता है तो उसको कम पैसे में सेटल करना पड़ेगा. So I think that is the soft skill part of it. What AI can help you with is the hard skill part of it. So आपका जो actual product है उसको आप कितना अच्छा बना सकते हो. Okay, AI can typically help you with that. So I think I would say कि it is a function of a soft skill as well as the hard skill. On the hard skill side, I think AI will help you be more productive, build more skills in the long run. So I think the income should go up for all kinds of people. But again, there is a soft skill aspect which is uncertain, non-deterministic. वो individual पर depend करता है कि how much income they are able to derive from their skill. और ये आप मतलब you will see all sorts of these inequalities in your peer group also. You might know a friend जो पढ़ाई में बहुत अच्छा है लेकिन बोल नहीं पाता, एग्जाम में लिख नहीं पाता. Okay, when you talk to that person, you know that he is very smart or she is very smart. बट जब एग्जाम लिखने का टाइम आता है तो परफॉर्मेंस नहीं हो पाती. डज नॉट मीन दैट द पर्सन इज नॉट स्किल्ड. ओके, आई थिंक सिमिलर गोज विद द इनकम. It's a combination of both these factors.
Since the question starts off with AI, I'll initiate the conversation with AI in general and then switch to the advent of ChatGPT. So whenever any transformative technology comes in, many jobs will be displaced. Low skilled workers and high skilled workers, the income inequality, which is the topic of the question, I am a strong believer that yes, income inequality will increase. But now what we should consider here is that as we progress as a generation, as we progress as humanity, certain jobs were existed in the past which do not exist anymore now, those are no longer required. So with, for example, robotic process automation, or for example, in factories, many manufacturing jobs, cloth making, fruit picking, selection of materials, etc. All of that has been automated, and it will only increase. As companies grow larger, they will be able to invest more in such technologies and thereby reducing their operational expenses. So those jobs will not only pay lesser and lesser, but also will be eradicated. And why do I say that those jobs will be lesser? Because as the machines come in, the company will offer lesser incentives to the people to stay, because if the person agrees to do it for a lesser salary or wages, then the company might still want to keep the person instead of the machine. But at one stage, those jobs will completely get removed from the face of the planet. Now coming to ChatGPT, there is a huge concern that artistic abilities, content writing abilities, will those jobs be reduced? Uh, Ye- to some extent, yes, but we also have to now realize that it gives everyone the ability to be a content creator. As Mr. Vishal already mentioned that he has become a poet now thanks to ChatGPT. So all of these things did not exist in the past. Again, coming to low skilled workers, it's easy for us to say that yeah, just go and upskill yourself. Yeah, so in the short term, they may not be able to upskill at the pace at which the AI is developing. That would impact their lives. But in the longer term, as for example, right now, all of us here, you can see that you're already in the AI department. You are learning about AI from an age, maybe even a few years back, 5 years back, in freshman, sophomore years of college, you would not be stressing or learning this to AI to this much extent. So already we see that the communities, the world as a whole is progressing more towards an automated age, and this will lead overall to an overall increase of salaries. So even the lower income people will get a higher salary, and the higher income people will get a higher salary. So to conclude the conversation, it will lead to an AI-led inequality in the short term, but overall there would be large-scale job displacement and people would progress overall.
Let's know what ChatGPT's opinion.
AI has the potential to lead to greater income inequality and widen the wealth gap between high and low skilled workers. But it ultimately depends on how it is implemented and integrated into the workforce. On one hand, AI can create new job opportunities, particularly in fields such as data analysis, artificial intelligence, and robotics, which require a high level of technical expertise and skills. These jobs can provide workers with higher wages and better job opportunities. On the other hand, AI can also lead to job displacement and workforce disruption, particularly in industries that rely heavily on routine tasks that can be easily automated. Workers in these industries may not have the necessary skill to transition to new jobs, leading to long-term unemployment and reduced earning potentials.
Let's open to the panel discussion to the audience. अगर आपको कोई questions है panelist से तो आप पूछ सकते हो. Feel free to ask.
हेलो आगे नहीं मिली क्वेश्चन सो मीन्स कुछ लोग बहुत से लोग ऐसे भी है जैसे भारत कैसे छोटे छोटे गांव से बन के मिलता है किसी तो भी मीन्स पॉलिटिशियन ने भी कहा है जब हम छोटे गांव का उद्धार करेंगे तभी भारत उद्धार करेगा बराबर सो कुछ लोग ऐसे बहुत से लोग ऐसे भी है कि जो अभी काम करते हैं रात में खाना पकाते मीन्स उससे पैसे लेते हैं फिर खाना पकाते खाते हैं सो ये तो बहुत लो स्किल पर्सन है इनके पास टेक्निकल में कुछ भी नहीं है ठीक है फार्मिंग करेंगे नाली गटर उधर जाएंगे इधर जाएंगे मीन्स सभी तक क्योंकि मेरा बैकग्राउंड भी वैसे ही है थोड़ा सा राइट सो आई नो दैट आपको भी पता होगा कोई हो सकता है पता नहीं बट फिर इनका तो कुछ टेक्निकल से मीन्स नाता ही नहीं रहता है तो ये तो मीन्स ये इनका क्या क्योंकि मीन्स इनको क्या हो जाएगा कि पे इनको जो पे मिलना चाहिए वो भी और थोड़ा शायद कम हो जाए सो
So I think the jobs which you described are more of like tasks that a human has to do at this point. And whenever we talk about job displacement, etc., I'll briefly segue away from your question to give you an example first and then jump back right into your question.
Okay.
So, for example, AI can currently resolve a lot of medical diagnoses and so on and so forth. It can even treat diseases. But you have never been treated by an AI doctor, right? Even though we are doing a lot of research in that field, we don't see it much. So You wanted to add something?
Yeah, but let me add one thing is that जब मीन्स एआई से डॉक्टर वाले एआई वाले डॉक्टर आ जाएंगे, ठीक है, सो क्या होगा कि थोड़ा उनका जो भी कॉस्ट वो चाहेंगे वो थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही बढ़ जाएगा। मीन्स अभी अगर 100 रुपये वो चेकअप के लेते हैं तो वो बढ़ ही जाएगा, राइट। जैसे कि अगर ऑपरेशन भी करना रहा तो वो उसका पेमेंट मीन्स वो ज़्यादा मांगेंगे अपने से पैसा। तो गरीबों के पास मीन्स जो कम लो स्किल्ड वर्कर के पास तो वो भी पैसा कम हो जाएगा, उनको खाने के लिए पैसा नहीं रहेगा। बराबर है ना, एक पॉइंट देखे तो।
Understood. So I actually disagree with this, but I let the other panelists as well weigh in on that conversation. So uh, when AI comes in or automation comes in, you would usually see costs reducing. Especially there would be a lot of government subsidies, government enabled AI at centers where it does not currently exist. So one of the research areas where I was working was doing a diabetic retinopathy detection in centers where no humans were there, no human doctors were there in those villages. So there, for example, it was free. We were offering it for free. It was in collaboration with Microsoft. So now let's jump back right into your question. There are two reasons, or quite a few reasons, two of which we would highlight which we need to keep in mind to consider job displacement. Number one, do humans actually trust this AI agent to perform the specific activity? And secondly, is it financially viable? Currently, the jobs which you discussed, like farming, etc., those are to some degree being affected by AI, but the overall work which you described, I do not foresee that in the next 5 or 6 years, or at least I can't foresee beyond that, at least in the next 5 or 6 years, that widespread throughout India, all of this, it's possible even to automate, because the financial amount which has to be put in for such a transition simply does not exist. So I would say no need for that worry in that specific area which you mentioned.
So, like Aditya said, I think there are too many Adityas on the dais. So, as Aditya Paul said, whenever technology or automation kind of comes into any field, typically the costs go down. Okay, but I think in medicine, introducing AI, I think it's a long shot, because AI is typically augmenting what doctors kind of do. There are some repetitive tasks which are more prone to automation, but I think it's a far shot to assume that they are going to replace these professionals altogether. And to your question, like I said, whenever a technology comes in, the typical aim of that technology or automation is to reduce cost, not to inflate the cost. So I think if anything is automated, it becomes available to the people at a much cheaper rate than rather being available, unless it is a disruptive kind of innovation, that it is a monopoly or something like that. कि ये सिर्फ एक कंपनी के पास है, तो then they can charge premium for that service. But अगर सर्विस सिर्फ ऑटोमेट करनी है, so then you are competing against other people, right? So people का तो चार्ज उतना ही है. So if you are employing automation on that, तो आपका typically aim होता है cost reduce करना. So आपकी सर्विस की cost भी reduce होती है उससे.
So means
Okay. आपका नाम क्या है?
ओम राखड़े.
ओम राखड़े. सो मुझे आपका क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छा लगा, और मैं चाहता हूँ कि लाइक मैं हिंदी में जवाब दूँ इसका. सो
मराठी
बट आई थिंक अदर ऑडियंसेस में सो फर्स्ट आई थिंक यू स्टार्टेड विद द क्वेश्चंस लाइक हाउ, मतलब ये पहले आपने शुरुआत किया क्वेश्चंस की लाइक जनरल लोगों तक ये कैसा इम्पैक्ट जाएगा उसका, राइट? सो AI इज नथिंग, ये ऐसा है कि जिसमें कुछ कंटिन्यूअस इंटेलेक्चुअल डेवलप हो रहा है टेक्नोलॉजी के पर्सपेक्टिव से, राइट? बट बेसिकली देखा जाए तो इट्स लाइक पावर ऑफ कंटिन्यूस लर्निंग. इधर इट इज मतलब कंप्यूटर के थ्रू हो रहा है, टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू हो रहा है, और ऐसे भी हो रहा है. सो इट इज एट द एंड पावर ऑफ कंटिन्यूस लर्निंग, राइट? जो एट द एंड हमको बेनिफिट कर रहा है, वो किसी भी स्तर के लोगों के लिए हो सकता है, राइट? मैं मेरा एक एग्जाम्पल देना चाहता हूँ. मैंने स्टार्ट किया था एज अ न्यूज़पेपर सेलर फ्रॉम 8th स्टैंडर्ड, and I'm currently working in technology. So it's the power of continuous learning कि आप एक पर्टिकुलर टेक्नोलॉजी पे इतना घुस जाते हो, इतना बिल्ड अप करते हो खुद को, क्योंकि आप अपने कैपेबिलिटीज बना लेते हो उस हिसाब से, राइट? इट डजंट मैटर कि आप कौन कहाँ से हो, आपका एजुकेशन या फिर इकोनॉमिकल लेवल कहाँ है, डजंट मैटर, राइट? एट देन वो बेनिफिशियली करता है आपको अभी नहीं तो या फिर आगे जाके कहेंगे. द सेकेंड थिंग इज दैट जो मुझे बोलना था ये कि लाइक एजुकेशन सेक्टर में इसका काफ़ी यूज हो सकता है. एक सवाल है मेरा, जैसे लाइक आपको क्या लगता है कि कौन से सेक्टर की हर ईयर में लाइक स्टूडेंट्स एनरोलमेंट करते हैं, कौन से पर्टिकुलर स्ट्रीम्स के लिए, मतलब कॉमर्स के लिए, मेडिकल के लिए, टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए, क्या लगता है आपको कौन से इसके लिए अपने कंट्री में एक साल में सबसे ज़्यादा एनरोलमेंट होता है? आपको क्या? Completely false. I'll tell you. This is the survey from higher education from India, higher education survey. You can check that there is like Center of Higher Education Department. वहाँ पे HES 2020 का सर्वे है. उसके हिसाब से 85% इंडिया में जितने भी एनरोलमेंट होते हैं ना, आउट ऑफ 100 85% बैचलर ऑफ आर्ट्स के लिए जाते हैं, right? Then remaining 15 falls into like medical, technology, commerce and likewise, right? So 85% लोग जो है ना वो बैचलर ऑफ आर्ट्स में करते हैं एनरोलमेंट. उसमें से हर ईयर लाइक बैचलर ऑफ आर्ट्स डिग्री पास करने वाले 61% होते हैं, राइट? उसमें से अगर 65 उसमें टोटल नंबर 37 पॉइंट समथिंग मिलियंस है. बट अगर रफली हम मेल टू फीमेल कैटेगराइजेशन किए जो एक्चुअली आर्ट डिग्री लेते हैं एट द उसमें से सबसे ज़्यादा कंपैरेटिवली फीमेल्स है, राइट? अभी मैं एक और सर्वे बताता हूँ जो महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट का है, जिसमें मेल टू फीमेल जॉब रेशियो दिया गया है, राइट? महाराष्ट्र के ऐसे बहुत सारे जिले हैं जिसमें आउट ऑफ 1000 फीमेल्स का जॉब रेशियो 0 है. ऐसे आई कैन गिव द लिंक देयर. बहुत सारी ऐसी है जहाँ पे फीमेल 0 है. सो 85% लोग एनरोल करते हैं बैचलर ऑफ आर्ट्स को, राइट? जिसमें से सबसे ज्यादा एनरोलमेंट का अगर कंपैरेटिवली मेल टू फीमेल देखा जाए तो फीमेल है. और जॉब रेशियो प्रोस्पेक्ट फीमेल्स का कितना है? क्लोज टू 0. So don't you think like AI will have to go into the education field for that particular sector? आपने ये भी नोटिस किया होगा काफी जो बैचलर ऑफ आर्ट्स करते हैं, राइट? या फिर बीएड करते हैं, एमएड करते हैं, राइट? पीएचडी भी करते हैं उसके अंदर, फिर भी यूनिवर्सिटीज उनको पैकेज मांगते हैं, right? They wanted to have 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs for the jobs. That is happening in India, right? This is completely human psychology, right? पैसा आ रहा है कैसे भी आने दो, right? So even though to come to your next question, अगर डॉक्टर के पास AI वाला आ सकता है, so I'm open to your answer that okay that can be happening. Human psychology में ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि मेरे पास AI technology you need to pay, right? So but I'm again with the answer that is given by Aditya. That it is, if you see technically, if you see logically, that should never be happened. But there is a psychological mindset, human mindset, right? Psychology होते ही नहीं यार, I'm using some AI technology, so that can be happen. I'm not biased about that, right? But it should not happen. Regulators, authorities होनी चाहिए. But अगर आपको लगता है कि एजुकेशन सेक्टर में इतना बड़ा डिफरेंस नोटिस हो रहा है, 85% बैचलर ऑफ आर्ट्स के लिए एनरोलमेंट हो रहा है, फीमेल्स से सबसे ज़्यादा है, फिर भी उनका जॉब रेशियो कम है. So this is completely different in a different particular analysis or what is happening in real time, right? काफी अलग चीज है ये. यहाँ पे change होना चाहिए. Even though we have so many norms and everything, we have administrative, but this is not actually regulatory good enough to maintain that, right? So in coming times, even though there is a doctors with AI वाले doctors अगर हो भी, तो भी ये चीज हो सकती है. So I'm completely not biased that it is not happening. It may happen as well. So I'm with your answer. So
talking about the medical domain, so I was working on the same field, so we were detecting X-rays using some scanners, and it was a pretty cheap device. We made that device, and the first of all development of any device is goes with the you take the user reviews. So we went to near about 4 or 5 villages near Hyderabad and we tested our device. But no one was able to use that device. People were scared to use that device. They were like they would be preferring a human doctor rather than a medical device. And the much more interesting part was it was free of charge. We weren't charging them a single penny for the same. But they would still be like, "नहीं हमको human doctor ही चाहिए." When it comes to human mind, it is more about emotional intelligence than artificial intelligence. Like a doctor can think emotionally, a machine can't. Like if a certain accident happens and a person went to hospital, it's more about quick decision making. It's about convincing their parents that ये surgery होंगी, इसके बाद ये surgery होंगी. That it connects them emotionally. A machine can't do that. Even if you ask ChatGPT like how was your day, he can't say anything because the first time it says is I'm a human, I'm a robot, I don't have any feelings. So it's more about emotions rather than intelligence. And the second thing is even if you introduce any device, it will take a much longer time to adopt. Like when government introduced solar panels, still they were providing it at very cheaper rate. They were offering subsidies. Still, people till now hesitate to have it over their homes. Like people were like, we don't want to have it over homes. Though it has a lot of benefits, but still, so it takes time. Yeah, thank you.
सो मीन्स इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस से ज़्यादा यूज़ करते हैं, ठीक है, बट अगर रोबोट्स में आ गए तो बहुत हार्मफुल हो सकता है.
It can be harmful, but it will certainly take a long period.
ओके, थैंक यू.
Any other question? Any other question?
So, sir, just a few hours ago, I read one news that Italy has temporarily banned ChatGPT. So, what's your opinion on that for security reasons?
So I have no idea about that, first of all, and why it is getting banned and which particular security reason that caused. So even I'm quite unaware about that. But I mean, whatever the ChatGPT, so I suppose that is the ChatGPT 3.5. That is the text data that is they are like taking as an input, right? The text data only. So that is the case that I think you are discussing about, right? Only for the not. So ChatGPT, right? So so there's a possibility that they definitely got something in out that we haven't yet up till now. So that's why they have decided to ban at the end. But I haven't seen that kind of harm. But if there is a certain like evidence in terms of getting those evidence available so that they decide to ban, I think there could be the one more possibilities. But for now, for personally, I don't see any particular harm, even though I'm not expert that much. But yeah, maybe I'm not the best person to answer that. I don't see any security harms up till now.
So they find out that ChatGPT are recording the links of users.
Oh, this is a new information for me.
Yes.
So thank you for the information.
Okay, so as Zahmat already mentioned, like this is new for me as well. I would base my response on the overarching impact that ChatGPT is creating, rather than is very minute specifics. Just to reconfirm, you said that ChatGPT is being trained on the user responses as well. That is completely then expected, and that is how online learning works. It was not something that we are learning today. We did know that it was using online learning. Now, is it that it should be banned? That is the call of each government to take. Like whether the information of its users, its country people should be harvested or not. Maybe Italy wants to build its own chat GPT competitor. Maybe each country would want to then create their own version to specifically benefiting their people instead of benefiting OpenAI itself. So yeah, in that aspect, maybe banning ChatGPT is a good economic, financial decision or a political decision, which I cannot comment on. But there is another thing happening nowadays that just ban ChatGPT, stop all AI development for few 6 months or something, which is not really a practical aspect because it can't be enforced. For example, it's like saying that you do not study for 6 months. I am not being able to study, so you also don't study. Then we'll study 2 days before the exam and we'll see. We don't want to compete. That really makes no sense. I can hide and study. So you are understanding where I am going with this thread. That's not a very practical thing. But I would like to highlight that creating proper regulations and making sure that the regulators actually understand what they are regulating is something which should be looked into in detail.
I think this is a philosophical question. Like I said in my session yesterday, simple engineer, I don't understand philosophy. I don't think I'll be able to kind of respond to whether it should be banned or what kind of stuff it is doing. But what I would typically do say is don't blame the technology, blame the person misusing it. So I think that's my stand on the issue.
Thank you, sir. So approaching to the dawn of the event, we had a lot of keynotes and valuable insights like there should be some ethical concern while using AI tools rather than right, abusing them and हाँ कुछ जॉब चली जाएंगी लेकिन नई जॉब भी वहाँ पे appear हो जाएंगी. So you guys need to be well prepared and well skilled as well. And talking about the shift in the income, it won't be possible because अभी हम देख सकते हैं कि applied scientist one of the highest paid है like AI domain में. तो companies tend to hire very few applied scientists. But if there is a automation takes on like lot of automation, तो वहाँ पे applied scientists भी बहुत ज़्यादा लगेंगे, ML engineer लगेंगे, ML ops engineer लगेंगे. तो ऐसा नहीं होगा कि like उनको ही सबसे ज़्यादा पेमेंट रहेगा, वो तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाएगा, right? So this was all about session. I would like to hand over to Vedanti. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ayush. We had a really interesting session. I think all of you agree with me. Expressing immense gratitude to our esteemed panelists for their insightful and profound responses. Their contributions have truly enhanced the quality of our discussion and enriched our understanding of the subject matter. A special thanks to the moderator, Mr. Ayush Vase. That's all time we have today. On behalf of our panelists and organizers, I want to thank all of you for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you on more such events. Thank you. Have a great day. Sir, actually there is a session. AI Wizard was a game, so you have to ask the questions to the speaker. Finalists of Mindscape. I request all the dignitaries to please take seat of the dais. Finalists of Mindscape to please report at C06. With their volunteers to assist finalists of Mindscape to C06.
सिर्फ फाइनलिस्ट मूव होंगे C06 में, बाकी लोग सिर्फ यहाँ बैठेंगे. So please take your seat.
We will be having AI Wizard finals over here. Please be seated. I request all the participants to remain seated. We'll shortly start with AI Wizard finals. Also, I request all the participants to check out the leaderboard. It has been updated.
please check it on website.
All the teams make it a point that after the events are done, after these final events for Mindscape and AI Odyssey are done, you guys come back here because we'll be having the prize distribution here itself. Today itself, everyone is going to get certificates as well. So for collecting the participation certificates, at least you need to be here. And all the games winners will be announced here itself. So we make it a point that you guys come back here after the games are done.
हाँ भैया G20 में मैंने कुछ नहीं लिया पर अभी कुछ नहीं लिया तो अभी यही है ना जो फाइनलिस्ट है उनको बस जाना चाहिए
I request all the participants to settle down quickly. Volunteers to also settle down.